we're gonna fix a charcuterie board for dinner, okay? After the end of your fast, you really need something delicious to fill your stomach up. Now, charcuterie boards have the nickname of being an appetizer, but we're not gonna treat them as that. We're gonna fix a hearty meal out of this, something really simple and easy to fix. What you're gonna need, some hard-boiled eggs. I always keep these around in the fridge. They're really simple to make, obviously. This is gonna give us our fat and protein intake. We have our delicious cheeses. We're gonna talk about these cheeses as we cut them. We're gonna make sure they're real cheeses. We have our savory cured meats, an avocado and a lime to throw in there, lots of pickled vegetables, and our nuts. Salt and pepper always is an additive, and some of our basic cutting board utensils. Now, when we're cooking in this scenario, we always want to have a couple of things. We want to have some extra bowls. We want to have a bowl that we can use for throwing away so we're not walking back to the trash can every 5 minutes. And you want to have a towel. Drape this towel over you, wear it as a sash, if you will. So every time your hands are dirty, you can just kind of roll in really quick and wash your hands off like this, or clean up the counter space, or pick up a hot dish. Always keep this on you. This is the basic stuff that you really need to make your cooking stuff go a lot faster. So, good, we got our stuff laid out. Let's kind of get into it, see what we're talking about. Now, whenever we're making something, we always want to do the hardest stuff to cut first, or the hardest stuff to cook first. So, for example, this is going to come out of the package. This won't take long to prep. Nuts go into the bowl, so let's do them last. We'll start with the cutting stuff. So the stuff that we're going to cut is some cheese here, and then we're going to do our hard-boiled eggs. So we want to make sure our knife is nice and sharp, okay? And this is a basic knife sharpening technique. If you don't know how to do this, it's fine. Sharpen your knife any way you can, but the sharper your knife is, the easier it's going to be to cook and cut. So we're going to make sure it's nice and sharp. Just give it a couple of runs over the steel. Great. Goat cheese doesn't require any cutting, okay? So we're going to kind of put that up to the side for a second, but this cheddar will. So let's go ahead and get it out. Now, when you're picking your cheeses out of the section, there are two sections of your cheeses in the grocery store generally. There is the fine cheese section, if you will, and then there's this section that has the grated cheese. Now, they name them both cheese, but they have to separate them because they're not actually cheeses. Some of them are spun up oils, which is what you'll find in those shredded cheese sections. So don't buy cheese out of that section. Make sure you go to that specialty cheese section because this is actual cheese. The stuff over there is generally not. It's just spun up oils, and those are not good for you. This cheese is. Now, cutting cheese is funny. I see people kind of butcher it and they try to do it from the side. This is how we're going to cut our cheese. We're going to set it up on the side. Now, if you're doing a funky cheese that's, a different shape, that's fine. Find the edge that works for you. Put your blade over the top of the cheese, and you want to guide it with your thumb while keeping your hand on this top of the block. So we just kind of go down the side. See how my finger's pointing down and it's helping guide this? I'm using a chef's knife. I think this is one of the best knives you can use for just any kind of preparation in the kitchen. I know this might seem banal, but let's make sure we get our cutting styles down. See how easy that cuts when you have both sides. If you're not stabilizing it, you won't get a clean cut. Make sure you get a nice clean cut. Hold that cheese so it doesn't rock. You're really getting to a nice fast cut. Yeah, look at that. Oh, cheddar cheese is so fantastic. Now, as we get down to the edge here, things come a little bit unstable. Make sure you tuck in your fingers away so you don't get them cut. But as we get to the end, we're going to prop it over here. We're going to turn it to its side. And we're going to cut it on its long end. Just to make sure we don't get a wobbly cheese and cut our finger. There we go. Last cut. We'll scoop them all up together. Nothing fancy. We don't want to have a long piece of cheese when we're eating it. So we're going to make it fun. We're going to cut it on the bias so everything has an angle. And maybe leave it like that. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe one more cut. Now you have a nice pile of cheese that everyone can share. Look at that. There we go. Isn't that nice? Now we're going to pull out our goat cheese. Goat cheese is a soft cheese is what it's called. It doesn't really require any preparation. It comes right out of the bag ready to go. Goat cheese is tangy and sweet. And it definitely sets a different tone than cow's cheese, which is what we're cutting here with cheddar. So real easy. This is an herb goat cheese. It's so delicious and fantastic. So good. And it goes just right like this. There we go. Look at that. We're halfway there. This is halfway to our meal. Now let's go into some hard-boiled eggs. Let's set this aside for a second. Just depending on how many you want. You can always eat these later, but see how my trash bin's right here? I didn't have to walk anywhere for this. So, eggs are fun. Eggs have a certain way that you have to prep them, actually. Lots of people, try to nitpick at them. What we want to do is we want to smash it on the top and the bottom. Just like that. See how it kind of already rolled halfway? And then we're going to give it a slight little roll. All right? That's going to make sure the shell comes off of its edges so we can peel it a lot easier. See how it kind of just comes off this way? When you smash it on the side, you're kind of shaking that outer shell. So then when you go to peel it, it's a lot easier to peel. So I know it sounds crazy, but there is a method to peeling eggs. I peeled a lot of eggs. I used to work in a French kitchen, and I used to peel eggs a lot. So there we go. That's our first egg down. That didn't take very long. We'll do one more egg just to kind of show how it works. So top and bottom smash, then we'll roll it a little bit, get that shell off of the edges of the protein layer, just like that. And I'm gonna start peeling at it. So this is the way you want to do your eggs, okay? Now eggs actually peel a lot easier when you right off the stove. And what you generally do is you throw it in an ice bath and the shell will contract and it'll make it so much easier to peel your eggs. But keep them in the refrigerator, and their shell's great too because it's an already natural storage mechanism. So it's easy to keep it in there, and the shell keeps it nice and fresh for longer. And you can just kind of throw them in your backpack and go. Just kind of get a sloppy with it. All right. Okay, we got a couple eggs going. Good. I'll wash my hands real quick. Oh, we're halfway there. This didn't take very long. We're almost halfway to our meal. Cured meats. Now, it's your choice of what you have. I like salami. I like pepper salami. Sometimes I do some high quality beef sticks. Sometimes I do cured salmon or smoked salmon. Just really depending on what you want. But you know, when you're feeding a group or you know, this is your family meal, you can easily set out a spread like this. Kind of just smush them up. Make it look interesting here. Just like that. We're heading into the territory of a fine charcuterie board, guys. My goodness. Now, what charcuterie board will be complete without some pickles? You know what I mean? Before we get into that, our last cutting item is going to be an avocado. Now, avocados can be tricky for some people. Let me show you the trick to them. You want to cut the avocado on the side like this to start, okay? We're just going to sink our blade in, just like that. We're going to give it 1 second to rest. An avocado, what you want to do is you want to keep it on the counter and roll the avocado with the knife sunk in. See, we roll it like that? And rolling it ensures that you get a clean cut all the way around and your knife isn't in a place where you're stabbing at it. You can hurt yourself. And then when you're done and you open up your avocado, it's a nice clean cut, all right? So this is step one. Now, taking out the seed can always be tricky. People like to dig it out with a knife, and that can be scary, and you can stab yourself in the hand, so let's not do that. Take the knife, hold it in your hand, take the butt of the knife, and you're just gonna put it into the seed just a little bit, just like that. All right, see how that kind of takes? It's perfect. Squeeze the avocado just slightly and turn it, and that seed will pop right out. There we go. No muss, no fuss, not hurting yourself. Now we want to throw this away. We obviously don't want to eat the seed. At this point, you walk over to your bowl, your trash can, you take your thumb and you just press it against, and it comes right out. So make sure you have this avocado cutting skills, guys, because we eat a lot of avocados in this program. So you want to make sure you're really good at it. No avocado would be complete without a little bit of salt and pepper. Be generous with them. Look at this. There we go. Ooh. Onto the charcuterie board. Now, of course, if you're going to have an avocado, you really need to have a lime. It's funny because there's actually a secret to cutting limes too. I learned this from a Mexican family I was living with. See this spot right here? See that spot? That's the core. That's what makes it really hard to squeeze. If you can cut around that core, just like that, you'll get a very squeezable portion of lime. And of course, let's not leave out this portion, not by any means. We can cut around this core to get it out and leave the edges. So this is the hard part. When you go to squeeze a lime, you can't hardly squeeze it. That's why, is this and the ends. These are the hardest parts to squeeze. So let's get rid of those. I'm not gonna do it now, but I love to just eat this, kind of just eat on it. You know what? Oh, so good. Okay, so let's bring it back into frame here. Have our lime ready. I'm gonna squeeze one of this avocado just to get it going. Keep these, don't worry about them away. Maybe you need some new juice later. Keep these as backup. There we go. Oh man, almost there. Now, nuts. Make sure you're eating a lot of nuts. Nuts are so good for you. They're a great source of protein and fat. These are deluxe mixed nuts. Try to have them without peanuts. Not a big fan of peanuts, but if you are, get the kind that does have peanuts. And of course, some pickles. Now I know what you're thinking. How am I gonna get these pickles out? Well, you know what? The claw, that will do the trick. Be liberal with it. Don't worry about it. Have a little bit of fun. You've already seen me stick my fingers halfway deep in all this kind of stuff. So, and pickles, of course, are soaked in vinegar. So whatever's on your hands, I'm sure will be fine. All right. Look at this. Look at this. Look what we've done. I'm not sure how long this will be going, but it can't be more than 10 minutes. This is our charcuterie board. Sit down with this, okay? And really satisfy yourself. Eat until you're full. You don't need a bunch of crackers and stuff. These bits will have the crunch that you want from the pickles and the nuts, the savor from the cheese, the savor from the meats. This will be great avocado for fats, and of course your goat cheese as well. Just all great stuff to have. And of course, don't forget your eggs. So this is us. This is our charcuterie board. This is your meal for the evening. And of course, later in the night, if you're still feeling like you're hungry, we had a whole snack section you can use to go over to make the perfect snack for you. Hope you guys enjoy.